So this is TechDisc every day, day one. This is a little bit of an experiment to see if I can string together like a long period of training and using the TechDisc every day to improve my disc golf form. And I've set up, in the attic, I've set up a little space to throw. And with the TechDisc, you can see me almost falling over on some of my first attempts. I've already been doing this for a couple of days, but I've sort of been thinking about how I want to shape this in a way that it's actually sustainable. So what I mean is, like, I have a full-time job. So if I'm gonna do something like this every day, it should take up like a minimal amount of time beyond the training itself, of course. I don't mind spending like half an hour a day on something like this. But if then it's gonna be another hour every day of recording stuff, then it's gonna be a bit difficult to sustain. So why am I doing this? I'm actually inspired by a YouTuber called Ivan Juric, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who does the barbell exercise, the squat. He does that every day, and every day he sort of narrates his experience and the things that are going on in his mind and the things that he's trying to become better at squatting. And I think that's a really interesting concept, because you can tell that he is not only become very strong and very good at the squat, but he's also his philosophy on life and his philosophy on exercise is also how do you call it, very mature, very advanced, I can say. Like, after he's been doing it for years now, every day, same thing, squatting with the barbell, and seeing how every day he can like incrementally increase his performance. So that's something I'd like to try here. I cannot go out and disc golf every day. It's just not feasible, especially in winter when it's dark and rainy, with a full-time job. So that's why I thought, like, I can do the TechDisc every day, like minimal investment of time. You can just go up to the attic and toss the disc into like this blanket a couple of times. It doesn't really matter how long I'll be doing it. I think it's just keeping yourself on it, keeping yourself honest, and and through slow incremental changes maybe get better. I'm not really a good disc golfer by any means, but I think this might really help me. So, of course, the holy grail of a disc golf drive is throwing it as far as you can. And of course, that's a goal I have. But right now, I'm just trying to use the TechDisc to identify or to train myself to fix certain things. Like, in this case, starting out, I want to learn to control the hyzer angle, because I found that throwing with any sort of power gives me a very inconsistent release angle, like a hyzer angle. And especially on my left hand, I'm ambidextrous. I have a left and right backhand. I don't have a forehand. So, but especially on my left hand drive, something happens where when I put any sort of power on the disc, it comes out at an extreme hyzer angle. And my current goal for the coming period is to teach myself to learn to throw flats, like let's say somewhere between 3 degrees and -3 degrees every time on command, and at any level of power as well. And for that, I'm going to need to change the way I throw, because I'm a little bit of a hunched over person. I have a desk job, so my head moves forward a bit, and there's this pattern that has arisen in my game that I sort of hunch quite a lot, which I think contributes to the increased hyzer angle. And I think that when I start to become better at always releasing on a flat angle, because that's my goal right now for the coming period, is to get to a point where like 95% of the time I release at like very close to flat, and then I'll want to teach myself to release on like a 5-degree increment, hyzer and hyzer, like on command. So I could tell myself, okay, I want to throw around 5 degrees hyzer, and then I should be able to throw that angle anytime I want. And I could say like, okay, now 10 degrees, I'll throw around 10 degrees. And I don't know how accurate someone can become at that, but it would be a nice experiment to just have that sort of control over your body, where you can just decide the angle in whatever circumstance there is, because the patterns are in your body, and you can just unleash a shot at the exact angle you want. So 5 degrees and hyzer, 5 degrees hyzer, exactly flat, 15 degrees hyzer, doesn't matter. I think a player should have that in their bag. And it does become a bit complicated, or a bit more complex, because there are certain other variables I also want to see. Look at, if I start teaching myself to throw at a certain hyzer angle, but the nose angle is always different, or it's always nose up, or the launch angle is always into the ground, then of course that's not going to be a good thing. Then I think I'll be teaching myself the wrong patterns. So here we see me throwing, and I'll be honest, it looks a bit goofy when I throw. Like I'm in a smaller space, so there's not much room, so there's this subconscious thing happening where I probably holding back a little bit, swinging my arm, afraid to hit something. So to the left of the camera view, there's actually nothing really nearby, so it's mainly the cabinet. And I'm sort of subconsciously scared to spin my hand into. think I'm gonna have to look at some pro footage to see how they move their bodies after releasing a disc, because I'm making this weird pirouette that looks goofy. I don't know. Well, I think that's it for day one, and we'll see you about day two. Thank you.